Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. Can I ask you something that might change everything for you today? What if the most powerful thing you have ever done or could ever do was simply to stop caring what they think, not stop caring about love, not stop caring about life, but stop caring deeply and deliberately about the person who has spent years trying to diminish you. Welcome. I am so glad you found this today, because what I am about to share with you took me and many of the women I have walked alongside a very long time to understand. If you are watching this, I believe you have lived through something. A relationship that took more than it gave. A person who pushed every boundary you tried to set. A wound that you have been carrying so long, it almost feels like a part of you. And somewhere along the way, you were told that to heal, you had to fight back, to speak up louder, to make them understand, to get even. But today, gently, lovingly, I want to offer you a different way. One that does not require your anger, one that does not cost you your dignity, one that paradoxically is far more devastating to those who tried to hurt you than any argument you could ever win. We are going to talk about the quiet, extraordinary, world-altering power of emotional indifference. Let's start with the truth, because you deserve honesty more than you deserve comfort. When someone hurts us, and I mean really hurts us, the kind of hurt that changes how you sleep at night and who you think you are, our nervous system has one primal instruction: protect yourself, fight back, make it right. And there is nothing wrong with that impulse. It is ancient. It is human. It kept our ancestors alive. The psychologist inside me wants you to understand the desire to retaliate is not weakness. It is not petness. It is biology. It is the wounded self saying, I mattered. What happened to me mattered. But here is what biology does not tell you. Retaliation keeps you tethered. Every time you send that message, every time you rehearse the confrontation in the shower, every time you imagine their face when you finally tell them off, you are handing them something extraordinarily valuable. You are handing them your energy, your time, your mental real estate, your peace. And sweet friend, they are not paying rent. Psychologists have studied what happens in the brain when we engage in conflict with someone who has hurt us. And what we find over and over again is this emotional reactivity. Whether it is anger, tears, pleading, or retaliation, is information to a certain kind of person. It tells them, I still have power over her. She still cares. I can still reach her. But indifference, true, deliberate, from the soul indifference, gives them nothing. And to a person whose identity depends on your reaction, nothing is absolutely everything. Nothing is the most eloquent response you will ever give. Now, I need to pause here, because I know what some of you might be thinking. Does this mean I become cold, closed off? That I build walls around my heart and never let anyone in again? Absolutely not. And this distinction is everything. Emotional indifference is not a wall. It is not bitterness wearing a mask of calm. It is not revenge dressed up as healing. Real emotional indifference is a sanctuary you build inside yourself. It is a room where you choose what energy you allow entry, and you simply decline gracefully, quietly, without drama, to let certain people's behavior affect your nervous system anymore. Think about it this way. Imagine your inner world is a garden. It is lush and alive, and it took you decades to cultivate it. Bitterness is a pesticide. It kills everything, including the roses you love. But indifference is simply knowing which plants belong in your garden and which do not. You are not angry at the weed. You do not argue with it. You do not beg it to be a rose. You simply remove it without ceremony and return to tending what matters. There is a concept in psychological practice called emotional detachment, and it is frequently misunderstood. People hear detachment and think numbness, shutdown, grief turned inward, but healthy detachment is the opposite of numbness. It is a state of profound aliveness where you are fully present, fully feeling, fully yourself, but no longer at the mercy of another person's choices, moods, or provocations. Think about the wisest woman you have ever known, your grandmother, a beloved mentor, a woman of deep faith. Did she react to every slight? Did she chase every conflict? Did she exhaust herself trying to make unkind people understand her worth? No. She knew something that took her a lifetime to learn. And today, we are going to receive that wisdom a little earlier in the journey. Let us talk about what retaliation actually costs us. Not in the abstract, not philosophically, but in the real daily texture of your one precious life. When you choose to retaliate, whether through sharp words, exposing them, going to battle on social media, or simply rehearsing the argument in your head for the 1,000th time. Here is what is actually happening physiologically. Your body floods with cortisol. Your sleep suffers. Your immune system weakens. Your ability to experience joy narrows. Your focus shifts from the beautiful life you are trying to build to the person you are trying to defeat. And here is the cruelest irony. While you are doing all of that, they are sleeping just fine. They are not awake at 2 a.m, composing the perfect devastating response. They are not rehearsing the argument in the shower. They have moved on, not because the relationship did not matter, but because people who chronically wound others have somewhere along the way disengaged from their own conscience. They do not feel what you feel. And trying to make them feel it through confrontation is like trying to teach music to someone who was born without the ability to hear. Now, here's what the research and the wisdom of generations tells us about emotional indifference. When a person who has depended on your reaction suddenly receives nothing, no anger, no pleading, no visible wound, something happens to them that no argument, no revenge, no confrontation could ever produce. They lose relevance in your life and eventually in their own story about you. You see toxic relationships, whether with a narcissistic ex-partner, an estranged adult child, a manipulative sibling, or a friend who always took more than she gave, are powered by your engagement. Like a fire that needs oxygen, they need your reaction to survive. The moment you withdraw your emotional oxygen, calmly, not with anger, not with drama, not with the dramatic announcement that you are withdrawing it, the fire simply has nowhere to go. That is not weakness. that is a masterclass in boundaries. I want to be honest with you the way a good friend is honest. Emotional indifference is not something you wake up with one morning like a gift. It is a practice, it is a muscle, and like any muscle, it requires repetition and patience and the willingness to come back when you fall, because you will fall. You will send the text. You will lose your composure at the family dinner. You will cry in your car in a parking lot and feel like you have failed. And when that happens, I want you to remember something. The goal is not to feel nothing. The goal is to eventually feel deeply, joyfully, freely about the things and the people who deserve your feeling. The goal is to protect the sacred. Let me give you 4 practices, 4 concrete, real world tools that will help you build this sanctuary inside yourself. Before you respond to anything that triggers you, a text, a voicemail, an overheard comment, a passive-aggressive remark at the holiday table, give yourself 24 hours, or at minimum 1 hour, or at the very least, 1 deep breath that travels all the way from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. In that space between stimulus and response lives your power. That is where your dignity lives. That is where the woman you are becoming makes her choices. Every time you feel the pull to retaliate, I want you to ask yourself this question gently, as a loving mentor would ask it, not as a judge. Is this reaction protecting my healing? Or is it protecting my ego? Your healing needs peace. Your healing needs space. Your healing needs you to redirect the extraordinary energy of your emotion, not into the wound, but into the life you are building on the other side of it. In the old story, winning meant making them understand, making them apologize, making them see what they did, watching them realize what they lost. In the new story, the story of women who have chosen their peace over their pain, winning looks completely different. Winning is the morning you wake up and do not think of them first thing. Winning is the dinner party where you laugh so hard you forget what you were angry about. Winning is the relationship that heals you because you finally stopped pouring your healing energy into the one that broke you. The word boundaries has become so common that we sometimes forget what it actually means. It does not mean a list of ultimatums. It does not mean a manifesto delivered in anger. A boundary at its truest is simply a statement of how you intend to live. You set a boundary not to change someone else's behavior. You set it because you have decided with your whole heart who you are and what you will allow in your sacred inner space. The other person's response to your boundary is none of your business. Their understanding of it is not required. Grace is not the absence of firmness. Grace is firmness with love for yourself intact. Here is what I want you to understand at the deepest level, because this is where the real healing lives. Emotional indifference, practice with intention, not with bitterness, is not just a strategy for dealing with difficult people. It is a complete redirection of your life's energy. Every ounce of attention you withdraw from the wound, you get to invest in your own becoming. The women I have worked with who have mastered emotional indifference don't just survive the people who hurt them. They flourish in ways that take your breath away, because the enormous amount of psychic and emotional energy that was trapped in conflict, in waiting for apologies, in managing someone else's instability, that energy becomes available for everything else. For creativity, for deep friendship, for spiritual growth, for the grandchildren who deserve the best of you, for the version of yourself that you put on hold for decades because you were too busy surviving someone else. Before we close, I want to sit with you in something real. I know that some of you watching this are not angry. You are heartbroken. The person you are trying to detach from is not a stranger. It is someone you loved with everything you had. A husband, a child, a best friend of 30 years. And the idea of indifference feels like betrayal. Like you are saying the relationship did not matter. Like you are giving up on someone you still, somewhere in your bones, believe in. I hear you. I want you to know that choosing your peace does not mean the love was not real. It does not mean you are abandoning hope. It does not mean you are a hard woman. It means you have finally understood something that love alone cannot teach you. You cannot pour healing into someone else's wounds if yours have never been allowed to close. Your indifference toward their chaos is not a lack of love. It is the most loving thing you can do for them, because chaos without an audience often has no choice but to quiet down. And for you, because you deserve a life that does not require you to be at war just to exist in it. I want to tell you about the woman who lives on the other side of this practice, because she is worth fighting for. She is worth the discomfort of learning something new. She is worth every difficult moment of choosing peace when every instinct says to fight. She is calmer, not because nothing touches her, but because she has learned to let things touch her and pass through her like wind through an open window. She does not slam shut. She does not lock down. She simply lets it move through and returns to herself. She is more present because she is no longer spending her now on the past. The conversation she is having with you right now is the only conversation she is in. The meal she is eating actually has flavor. The sunrise she is watching, she actually sees it. She is more powerful. Not the power that comes from winning arguments or from making people small. The kind of power that cannot be taken from you because it was never given to you by anyone else. She is the woman who, when someone says something designed to wound her, tilts her head very slightly, offers a small, genuine smile, and says absolutely nothing. And somehow, in that silence, every person in the room knows you cannot touch her anymore. That is who you are becoming. That is who you already are under all of this. The healing is not creating her. It is uncovering her. Close your eyes if you can, just for a moment, and breathe. May you find today the courage to release what was never yours to carry. May your peace become so rooted, so deep, so wide, that the storms of other people's choosing cannot find the ground of you anymore. May you wake tomorrow and remember you are not defined by what was done to you. You are not diminished by what was said about you. You are not held hostage by who refused to love you well. You are the one who got up. You are the one who kept going. You are the one who today chose something different, you chose peace. You chose yourself. That is the bravest thing a woman can do. Thank you for being here today. Take care of yourself. You are irreplaceable.